Season 5 farther optimizes the format that we saw develop in Season 4. Honing in on Howard and Bernadette, who didn't get much attention last season, makes the cast feel a lot more filled out. It seems like over time, the writers became more aware of the problems with Howard and has let Bernadette and his relationship happen in the background for the past couple of seasons, giving him a reasonable amount of time to grow out of his more misogynistic traits. This season brings that front and center, with episodes where Howard is either forced into a more traditionally feminine role in the relationship, or he actively pushes to reform himself so he can be good enough for Bernadette. Overall, I am happy to see this development, but it could have been done a lot better. I mentioned in the Season 4 review that their engagement didn't feel justified yet, but it would have made a lot more sense this season. They have a lot of big emotional moments together to set up for it, and it wouldn't have to mess with the timeline at all. Because when they get married at the end of the season, it's in a rush so Howard can go to the International Space Station. Not a huge deal though, I still think these characters are a big upgrade from the introduction. Howard turns down strippers at his bachelor party out of respect for Bernadette and doesn't do any substantially creepy stuff. He has a huge speech saying he's aware of who he was and he's not that guy anymore, and it comes off pretty sincere. All the other characters are aware of his growth as well. At first, the girls are overprotective of Bernadette, thinking Howard's a creep, but they come to accept the effect the relationship has had on him. Bernadette is more than just someone to pair with Howard this season though. Her role in the group is a lot more clear. She is also essential in her role of changing the Penny-Amy dynamic. Amy is too infatuated with Penny, and Penny is too creeped out by Amy for them being friends to make that much sense. Bernadette is the voice of reason that keeps that side of the show from going off the rails. Penny has improved a lot as well. Having her really commit to this friend group, warts and all, makes her feel a lot more grounded than the girl next door who has tons of friends and parties but is still willing to hang out with the mean nerds who sexually harass her. She gets back together with Leonard this season, and this is the most realistic the relationship has felt thus far. By the time they go out again, everybody has been talking about it for so long it feels inevitable. They decide to try a very polite, logic-based approach to things that kind of works in the long run for handling disagreements. Leonard makes another big mistake by asking her to marry him while they're in bed together, similar to the I love you incident from an earlier season. But this time it doesn't end their relationship. They decide to work through it despite the fact that they can't stop bickering about the issue. Leonard is at his best with Penny for sure. She highlights his insecurities in a way that makes him seem a lot more charming. Our other Leonard episodes this season are a mixed bag. One comes close by having Leonard be intimidated by an old bully at first, but then decide to stand up for himself in a way that didn't mean much for the character. We've seen Leonard stand up to big guys before, and it kind of always goes the same way. Another Leonard episode that bothers me is when he's at the comic book store, a hot goth nerd girl approaches him with nerd banter and gives Leonard her number. He is still dating Priya at this point, so even entertaining the idea as long as he did feels a little slimy. We then find out she apparently had been cheating on him, so that relationship is finally dead, making room for Leonard and Penny to get back together. Leonard really wants this Penny thing to work out, and so do I. I can't handle any more of Leonard floundering around with strange women. Sheldon and Amy are also working out well. Just like last season, most Sheldon plots where he's acting ridiculous see him put in line at the end by Amy. She's really effective at forcing Sheldon to admit he was wrong, unlike everyone else who takes hollow victories that amount to nothing. He's still able to take shortcuts like buying gifts to apologize, but Amy is aware of what he's doing and will call him out if she feels disrespected. Amy herself hasn't really grown much. If anything, we've seen evidence she won't change anytime soon. Her friends are uncomfortable calling her out for her creepy behavior, and her approach to romance is making progress as is. I just don't see any motivation for her character to grow much right now. Raj is the only one I feel bad for. All of his stuff this season is just about how desperate he is for a girlfriend. Raj dates a gold digger, Raj dates a lesbian, Raj dates his phone. That cliffhanger with Penny last season didn't mean anything. I get they don't want to just pair off the entire cast so quickly, but if you're only leaving one person out, be more respectful than having all their plots be about them being lonely and pathetic. Maybe they just haven't gotten to him yet. I guess we'll see in Season 6.